Ladies and gentlemen, thank you and welcome back for another Z Real Estate discussion on real estate. And today we're going to be talking about what happens when your client pisses you off. So one of the things that brought up this discussion, or was the impetus for this discussion, was a presumably false report on Facebook about a realtor that set a home on fire after the homeowner decided not to sell. And I think we've all been in the situation where a client does a bunch of work and something happens and you realize at that moment all of your work was in vain.
Well, not the client does a bunch of work. It's you do the work
Right.
for the client.
And then you realize you're not getting paid. What do? How do you handle it
burn
appropriately?
their house down. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
no, you don't do
usually
that.
if you're going to do that, be very, very careful.
Don't let anybody see you do it. Don't make it obvious.
Right.
Yeah. So, what we want to talk about is what would drive somebody to want to do something like that, and why. Don't ever put yourself in that situation where you are driven to do that. Meaning, now your one deal should not be the only deal that you're counting on. Don't count your chickens before they hatch as well.
That's actually an excellent point, because the truth is, if you ever get to the point where one deal can drive you that crazy and can honestly make you consider burning the client's house down,
that means you're already a bad.
You don't have enough business.
Yeah.
And if you don't have enough business, my opinion, the client was right in deciding not to use you. You're not the right realtor for the job.
Now, I do feel for the agent too, though. There are people that make you just drive you nuts, and they keep demanding things, and they keep asking things, and nothing is ever right. And then at the end, they screw you over. Usually those are people that you're related to, friends and family.
It's always going to be the family.
They always take you for granted, and
Right.
that's cool. But yeah, you got to have multiple deals. That way you're not relying on that one person, and you're not relying on that deal to pay for all your bills in the future. So that's really important. But yeah, there are times when people are driven to do something like that. Don't be impulsive. Go see a therapist. Go see a coach.
Right.
Change your broker. Find somebody where you can actually get out of that environment and learn the right skills to be able to sell more homes, to be able to get more deals. They say, before I cut you off, and I apologize for that, if you generate, you don't have to tolerate. So if you have bad clients that don't make you happy and make you want to burn their home, or give you that impulse to want to do something like that, that means you're working with the wrong clients. The great thing is, when you are a good agent and you have a lot of leads, you get to choose the people you get to work with.
You get to choose the people that you want to work with, but also at the same time, there needs to be a modicum of civility here. I mean, come on, guys, we're all humans. Do people say things and do things occasionally that make you go, oh, just makes me so angry? Of course, it's natural, it happens. But I want to tell you a story, and this is very important, because and usually what happens early in a realtor's career is they'll go on, listing appointment after listing appointment, and they won't get it. They'll lose out constantly to another realtor. Now, obviously that's frustrating, but, showing 30 homes to a buyer that decides not to buy, that's even more frustrating, because you put in a bunch of work and effort. So the point is, when you're doing all that, many times, if you can handle it gracefully, even if it is a situation that actually breaks you financially and you really, really needed that, if you can, despite that, say, no problem, I completely understand, there will invariably be those clients that remember how graceful and courteous you were when they said that to you and how you handled it. And guess what? Maybe they were telling the truth. Maybe they really did have a change of heart and they decided not to buy or sell or whatever. And because you handle it like such a pro, when they actually do decide to buy or sell, who are they going to call? The one that handled it like a pro. And if you say, you know what? Screw you. You know how hard I worked on that? You owe me a commission. And I think we both know some realtors that have actually tried to fight for that, despite the fact that there was no escrow closing, because they demanded they were due a commission. What do you think about that?
I think that's a very nice and diplomatic answer. But at the end of the day, again, I think agents need to be a little bit more in charge of their career and their time. So if you're showing 30 homes to somebody and they're not taking a bite on it, they're not putting in offers, those are the wrong clients to have in the first place. So you should not be wasting that much time.
And have you ever gone after a client for a commission that didn't pay you anything?
No.
Would you?
Those are clients that you've already cut loose by that time. You're not going to be running after clients that deliberately take up your time. I think it's when you feel like they're deliberately taking up your time. I make it very clear. And then there's a sort of set of levels that I have in figuring out if I want to work with this person or not. I qualify my clients all the time. And one of the things is, am I working as a cab service? Am I their Uber driver showing them home after home after home? My job is not to show them home, is to get them into a home. So it's really important to qualify your client, not only with financially, but also their state of mind. Where are they? Are they ready to buy? It's probably why I don't work with a lot of buyers. I do like to take on listings because
I'm
I feel
the same
like most of the people who are ready to sell their home or lease out their property or whatever, they're ready to take action. They're not ready. They're not indecisive at that point. If they're ready to let people into their home, to look at their home, that means they're serious.
And the way that somebody can tell if you're serious is if you do what you say and you say what you're going to do. So many times, in order to get a listing, I think we're all guilty of this at some point or another. Realtors will say whatever they need to say. If a realtor believes the home is worth $340 and the client says, I won't list for under $390, sure, I'll list for $390. Does the realtor think it'll sell for that? No. But the expectation is eventually a series of price reductions will grind the seller down to a point in which it will sell.
I think,
right?
No, to some extent, that's probably not a good idea. I mean, I think if you are going to take a listing that's overpriced, you need to make sure that your client knows, hey, I recommended $340. You want me to list it at $390? We'll try it at $390. But if it doesn't sell by, or we don't get showings by in the next 2 weeks, our number of showings is low, we don't have any offers in 2 weeks, then we're going to start reducing the price because now you're making a case for, hey, I did what you wanted me to do, but at the same time, it's not moving, and I'm not in the business of just holding your property hostage. We want to sell this thing, and this is the strategy we need to take in order to.
And you know what? Kavita actually brings up a really good point, which reminds me of something I was reading the other day, which was talking about how the best way to prove a point is with actions. So if you know you're right, you as in the realtor, and you suggest something and the client overrides you, instead of trying to show them logistically why you're right, just do what the client wants. And when it doesn't work, they will see that you're right. Usually that's the best way. So Kavita does bring up a good point. If you're saying it's worth $340, it's not worth any more. Well, I want to list it for $390. Fine, list it for $390. When it's not selling, why is it not selling? Well, remember when I told you it's not worth this much? Maybe that might help convince them. So being gracious and being courteous is very important in this business, despite the fact that we don't always get the most gracious and courteous clients, right?
We don't?
No.
I have great clients. I do work with some pretty awesome clients, I gotta say. I've handpicked them. I let go of clients that don't necessarily take foolish decisions, or they want me to make foolish decisions on their behalf. And I do feel like I always have to make sure that I protect them. And the clients that are, you need clients that are sort of coachable. They want to hear, they want to learn. Because we do this day in, day out. People who are receptive to our advice, not 100%, but you know, they're receptive of our advice. Those are the kind of clients that I want to work with. And so that's why I generate a lot of leads. And so out of those leads, I pick and choose who do I want to work with. And I think most agents should have that
That's
approach.
true. And if you don't think that the clients are doing the same thing, then you're sorely mistaken. They really are. And demeanor, attitude, that really does go a long way. And if you're the type of person that even has the inclination to say, you know what, I'm going to get very angry if I lose this deal. And if you back out, it's going to really, really upset me. Whether you say that or not, if you have that ability, I can promise you that the words that you choose, even if you try to be courteous, will convey that sentiment, and the client will see that. If you're just genuine and honest and kind, you know, a lot of times that really will accomplish the bigger picture, which isn't necessarily getting that deal. It's getting all the deals. Right?
I agree. So, you know, don't burn people's homes down. They're expecting you to take care of their homes.
Now, are there situations where that makes the most sense to burn the house down? Sometimes. I've had those situations in the past. No, I will not disclose the address.
You burned somebody's house down. Okay,
no,
your teenage
I
years
didn't
don't
do
count.
it. No, it wasn't me personally.
Okay.
Although, are there situations, you know what, this actually brings up a good point. Are there situations in which burning a house down could be the best scenario for the owner? And if it is, and the owner discusses it or divulges it to their realtor, how do you handle it? They tell you that they're intending on burning their house down for insurance money. What do you do?
That's insurance fraud.
That's right.
I can't be accomplice to that.
But what do? Do you just back out? Do you tell somebody?
I talk them out of it. I don't let them do it. Don't do it.
I buy the gasoline. I'm there for you to support you however you need that support.
Before we go, in regard to someone being driven to burn somebody's house down, there are times when I've seen people wanting to get a deal done so badly or try to get a listing so badly that they end up promising things to a homeowner. Hey, I'll put a new carpet, I'll change all the bathroom tiles and so on. So they end up spending all this money without even having somebody under contract. And so what we have to learn from this situation is, or a similar situation, is that if you're going to spend a lot of money in preparing a property for the sale, there should be a contract already in place stating that, hey, if you back out, then you owe me this much money if you don't intend on selling it.
Right. And also, it is, as a final point, I realize we're kind of drawing out on time here. Going back to what I was saying about doing what you say you're going to do. Don't ever make any false promises. And this message goes out specifically to the agents. And here's why I say that, okay? Many times you go on an appointment, well, I'm not so sure I'm ready to sell. What if I change my mind next month? Oh, no problem. If you change your mind, you just let me know. I will cancel it for you. Most agents say this. And guess what happens when the client actually does try to do it? It's not the agent's listing to cancel. It doesn't belong to the agent. So don't say something that you know 100% is not the truth. If you can't deliver, don't say it at all. Because nobody wants to be associated with the realtor that said something that wasn't true. Whether they lied intentionally, whether they screwed up, doesn't matter. It shows incompetence. Yeah. So check your facts.
Yes, I agree, 100%. All
right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And until next week, have a great week. And remember, if you need anything about real estate, call Kavita, call me, call Z Real Estate. Have a great day.